Hello, and welcome to the Global Speedrun Association final any percent league group stage match between Fur and LilKirbs. I am joined here today by co-commentator LilKirbs. How are you doing today, LilKirbs?
Oh my god. Is this actually the final regular season match?
It is the last one. After this, the playoffs are totally set. Great, pending announcement, because just what we say at the end of this is not the for sure, but we in theory will be able to tell. This is a very hype matchup between LilKirbs and Fur. Both of them are guaranteed to be in the playoffs, already in a playoff position, so they can only go up from here. But up they can go, because both of them have a chance to improve their standing and possibly play against someone they prefer, someone who they think they have a better chance against in the playoffs. We'll just get that out of the way now. Officially, according to the standings, basically, Fur has kind of a tough race here because he needs to win by 80 seconds to tie Equan, and that will move him from 7th to 6th. On the other hand, Kirbs wins by any amount, and then he at least ties Suisaiga for 4th. He could possibly even bop Stravos for 3rd if he wins by about 1 minute and 30 seconds, maybe 1 minute and 20 seconds, depending on one of the retimes, which is in dispute right now. But definitely a lot on the line for this race, and two very capable runners. LilKirbs, of course, the race world record holder, has a PB of 1 hour flat, while Fur, he's been getting into AUMs recently. He's been definitely like experimenting with a lot of different things, but he's still been racing solid. He's actually kind of implemented some crazy new strats. We've seen side flip moonskip from him, although even that now, side flip moonskip may be a little bit obsolete.
Doing slow
because of the new moonskip. Fur bonking with the frog a little bit. Not a technical bonk, but you don't want to see that at the start of cap. But it's fine because we still got 13 more kingdoms to go in this game.
Well, yeah, that's if you count Ruined as a kingdom. Sadly do. But yeah, I mean, as you said, Fur pretty much an inventor of some pretty unique strats, such as the first-person Harriet strat. And then, even though he's not technically the inventor of the bunch of the strats he goes for, he's pretty much the only one that uses them. Such things as the lower level or lower ledge jump across the city hall interior, or yeah, there's a bunch of these strats that Fur kind of does on its own. Cloud Boost is another one that comes to mind, something that he has been implemented pretty much as the very first one, and he's been sticking with it pretty much through his entire racing career, and I mean running career as well, really.
Definitely. Another one that I noticed recently is that he does that spin pound in Wooded to get into the pipes room. He does spin pound into the water, which I haven't seen any other runner really go for. Most people either ground pound or they kind of float in.
Yeah, pretty sure it's like an Xbox level BTT strategy. Xbox kind of like known to just go for these very small segments but optimize them pretty crazily, and yeah, Fur actually takes a lot of inspiration from them. Sometimes runners get probably a little bit scared looking at strats like this, and they're like, yeah, that's impossible, I can't do this in a run. But Fur maybe questions that a little bit more and is like, well, I could do that, you know, it's not that hard, and if I can save 0.3 with that and can save 0.3 with that consistently, it might be worth picking up. And I think that's something that's been going in his favor. Now, Kirbs obviously being at the very top for a little bit longer, and also probably with a little bit more consistency and a little bit warmer when it comes to any percent, as you mentioned. First doing 100% in AOM recently, and if you do 100% in AOM runs, you cannot really do an any percent run after, you know, you're pretty much done after playing for like 10 or 12 hours even.
Yeah, definitely. In fact, Fur is kind of an interesting strategy, which he said he's going to do. He's going to do about 100 no reset any percent runs eventually. Attempting all of these new strats, and you know, maybe it could be some way to improve his consistency in those strats, and then when he comes back after the 100 no reset runs, maybe he'll be ready to really ready to roll and possibly get that sub-hour time after, you know. It's so crazy to think that, like, it almost seems inevitable now. Of course, it's very difficult, but, you know, we have like 5 or 6 people, you know, even Fur eventually, he does need to build up to that point, but that could go under that sub-hour mark. LilKirbs could do it any day now. Could do it in this race. I don't know. What was the cap time? Probably Cap might have disqualified it, honestly. But hey, you never know. Race world record definitely still on the line, I would say. We're going for chess clip now.
Some dance style level thinking right there. You can sub
Yeah.
over with like a 230 cap technically. Technically, we know it's possible. We've seen Goyuya on insane paces, and Curbs is another one of these guys that could technically just take off and go all the way. But yeah, chess clip going successful for Curbs, not so much for Fur, who actually has to go for the backup strategy here. But yeah, Curbs is actually going to be leaving here, and that doesn't look too bad at all. I think he's going to be getting something. That's actually pretty good. This is like a 508. So, yeah, pretty solid.
Definitely solid first two splits. Is a 508 high. And we'll get Fur's Delta in just a second. But we're on to sand. Well, first, we'll look at this fast action guide a little bit. You know, not something that like a lot of viewers, at least of the game, you don't really notice it a lot. You know, sometimes you notice on the first split, but not like you're not looking for it. The runners, of course, are always looking for it, but we'll see whether he gets very quick press. And he does not get it. Curbs does not get that fast action guide. Just 1 second. Nothing huge in the grand scheme of things, but, you know, everything matters in this game. It is quite difficult to do. You got to be mashing really hard, or you could be like Stravos and have a setup for it. And Curbs, Fur, rather, also does not get it, so that's even Steven for these guys.
I don't believe anyone that says that there's like a secret to fast action guide skip. We've tried it all. Until someone proves to me that whatever they're doing is actually completely consistent, I'm just calling them out. I don't believe it. This is something we don't really understand until we start looking into the game a little further.
It is funny that you say that, LilKirbs, because I have been recording Fast Action Guide in every GSA League race. I haven't gotten some of the later ones, but at least as of like a round ago, Stravos is in first place with Fast Action Guide out of all, untied first place out of all of the runners, meaning that he definitely gets it much better than anyone else. I don't believe he's ever missed it, in fact, in any of his races. But
so
I'd have to go
speeding up
through
his gameplay. Okay, I see. Gonna have to ban that guy then. No, I'm kidding. But I mean, I don't know. It's just been consistently thrown around that there's like setups and you have to measure at a certain time, and no one has proven that it's actually 100% consistent yet.
Yeah, Dansta saying in chat that he times it. Spamming doesn't help him. But I guess for everyone it's different. I know a lot of runners do spam, and if your mashing is good enough, then you get it every once in a while. But
all right,
we are about to get into Sphinx clip here for Curbs, as Fur will be doing Dram. Curbs, of course, already got that Dram just fine, but it's another one where if you miss it, the backup is kind of long and awkward, but we did get it, so glad we have two across there. We're going to be seeing both runners go for double clip. Yep.
Fur not opting for the ice dram there, which is a very minor time save that you can do if you go over to that Pillar Moon. But that's not bad at all, as long as you actually get the capture warp to happen now. Curbs, at the same time, was able to get that first clip, first try. Let's see how the second one treats him, because this is exactly where the bird cycle starts. You want to go fast, and he does get the second one immediately as well.
And Fur going on to his Sphinx clip. Let's see it. Oh, this might be second try Steve for Fur, as he likes to call it. Every name of the Sphinx clip, every try has a different name. I think it's first try
Steve.
Yeah, second. I thought it was second try Steve. I don't know. Might be some other S name here, but we'll see. Oh, getting a first try. I don't know. What is first try again? First try Fred. That's what it is. First try Fred for Fur. So I'm sure I'll be happy about that, Fred. But that's the arguably the more important one too, because you are under a timer. I say that as he bonks on back into the sand, but a bonk actually at that specific point isn't quite as bad as usual, because your animation is canceled by landing on the shifting sands, basically. So the animation doesn't last as long if you bonk at that point. So that bonk was not as bad as a typical bonk.
Right, let's check out Curbs' bird cycle here. This is looking like a pretty far one. Obviously, he did get that second clip first try, so makes sense. The bird is in a pretty solid position. no late crate attempts here. I know Curbs has been kind of messing around with it a little bit, but I think he's really come to the conclusion that it's something he doesn't really feel confident doing. Granted, it's really, really hard to consistently perform, and we've really even seen only like 3 people or runners in the world go for it. We've seen other people try. Like, I think Dancer has been messing with it at times. Curbs has been messing with it at times. Chaos is thinking about it. But Go Yuya, Nick, and Equan really the only runners consistently going for it at this point.
Definitely. And now, of course, Nick not really on the grind for any percent for at least in the near future. But Equan has been getting some fantastic sand exits. Even Nycro, I saw he got sub 10 sand exits. These things were like impossible for. As we see a 10:05 sand exit from LilKirbs. So definitely a really good pace. This is very easily capable of breaking that race world record of 1:00:24, breaking his own time. You know, and honestly, that would be quite a way to go. Just like last group stage match. Of course, we still got the playoffs, but last group stage match just to like kind of pop off and just get a 1:01x possibly in a race. That would be incredible.
Absolutely. But I
and
think
it looks like Ferd's just about like 32 seconds behind.
I think it's still crazy to say. I mean, we hear it a lot that everybody's like, dude, Odyssey is so optimized. It's crazy, and it really is. And I'm not trying to downplay Fur's run right here. He's obviously in a race. But thinking just about the fact that the best sand fade out at this point is a 9:54, which is 11 seconds better than what we've just seen, just makes me realize how long we have to go from here. I mean, sub-hour was obviously an amazing achievement, but this game can go places still.
I actually totally agree. I think it is not even close to over. You know, I guess the thing is, once you get to another minute barrier, it always seems so far away from the start. Like sub 59, like what? That's like not even. You can like the human sum of best is not even sub 59. But we take it bit by bit. Basically, it's never all going to be at once. As LilKirbs does get the late clip, it was like a third try cap throw or something like that. So not the best, but at the same time, I think definitely still saving time with that. And we're going to see some Joy-Con strats from Fur switching. You see, if we had face cam or something, you'd see Curbs scrambling for the Joy-Cons here. And Fur doing wooded first, by the way. Not that surprised to see him go for this unconventional route, just kind of doing it for fun. But we are seeing some route divergence here because of this. So they will converge after Lake and Wooded in Cloud. But until then, honestly, we're going to have to,
Yeah, honestly, that's what I really love about watching Fur race. So I think he's never really been absolutely clear on why he does that. We've been asking him, is this because you want to like keep your muscle memory for these longer runs? But he's almost, oh no, I just felt like it. And I think it's kind of cool how he does like his own twists on the route. And even though there's like pretty much no difference in terms of like time save, it's just refreshing to see something different.
Fur falling from Wooded out of bounds. Oh,
he's actually falling quite deep.
Okay, is he going to go for rock clip
with the lever, which is very fortunate because if he actually fell down all the way, he would have ended up in the depot. So avoiding this one, but looks like he's not going to go for any rock clip attempts. He's just going to stick to the older guns.
That is quite I don't know. That's kind of like a big decision here because as soon as you decide not to do rock clip, basically you're like saying, of course it is risky. Rock clip is very hard. We've seen some people spend over 15 seconds Curbs with a 13:06 lake exit, but we can compare to Curbs is going to be wooded now. But yeah, we've seen people spend a lot of time on rock clip, but like if you get it first try, that's kind of like another 10 to 15 seconds you're saving off of doing the old routes still. So definitely it is the faster option, but I guess Fur decides he's not as practiced in rock clip perhaps. He is just going to go for the old wooded route. Yeah, you'd see here, you might wonder, why is the old wooded route so slow? A lot of reasons, but one of the reasons right here is this climb. Fur actually not too bad at the climb. I've seen him do it in other races, and it's like, he's getting up there, but he did get a ledge grab, not the fastest climb.
Yeah, very slow. Climbing up somewhere in this game usually tends to be extremely slow. If you want to fall, but climbing, it is like if you have to do a ton of cap dives and like dives in general, wall jumps, you usually want to avoid these. So even though we optimized the climb pretty heavily, still ended up being the slowest section in that route.
Oh, for missing the Piranha Plant there. See, if he was doing Piranha-less, wouldn't have to worry about that one. But, we are getting a little bonk. Oh, and 2 bonks. Kirbs also bonking, getting up to Nut Clip. But we'll see. This is very important
actually,
whether Kirbs can get Nut Clip.
Fur already got the tree moon, didn't he?
Oh, wait. Yes. But he can't fight Spewer if he doesn't get the Piranha Moon.
Yeah, that's correct. So I wonder what moon he is gonna be skipping now. It's gonna be interesting to see.
We actually noticed this with Suisaiga. He did the same thing. So he like missed. He went to the old route after getting the tree moon, and he actually just got an extra moon. He totally just, I guess he forgot or something. But he literally, it was a 125 moon speedrun for him. We might see the same from Fur, because hopefully he remembers that now.
He already did. He didn't grab the. He didn't grab the tower nut right now, so he basically just skipped that one. I think it would have been better to skip the one on the dead end, where you have to go around the corner. That was like the slowest other moon left in the route, but now he just ended up skipping the nut on the crumbling tower, which is fine.
Yeah, definitely. So he's doing both Piranha-less and Piranha, kind of. That's a rare combo, because you usually don't see people doing this route. Yeah, I guess if he had the foresight to think about doing that, but maybe he'd only realized late that he really should be skipping the moon. So... But at least he's not wasting the extra, 3 seconds on that moon animation cutscene. As we are fighting Spirit, we're not usually getting to see this guy until luncheon, but we're seeing him today. And once again, for anyone new joining us, even though Fur might appear that he's ahead in Wooded, actually he chose Wooded first, so Kirbs does have a considerable lead. I'd say after this mistake, because he was already 35 seconds behind before this mistake, I would say add at least another 30 seconds to this, maybe like 40, so probably Kirbs looking at like a minute and 10 seconds lead about. Hard to tell, of course, because we don't have a direct comparison.
Yeah. So for getting the tree moon, skipping crumbling tower, probably, I mean, that was probably around like, let me think, like 4 seconds slower than the old wooded route, because the tree should probably be around like 4 seconds slower than the crumbling tower. This is once again because he kind of like forgot that he actually already grabbed that tree moon, which can easily happen once you get into the muscle memory of this old wooded route where you go into pipes early and do the climb. That's fine. He's at least out of wooded now. Kurt is going to be able to skip Speward on his end, while first going to go into lake, and we are definitely going to be seeing lake clip from him as well. Let's see how that goes as Kirbs makes his way. Obviously, well, not the best vector.
Gonna have to do a dive there, but it's okay. At least we're not falling into the deep woods, actually. Very big risks to fall into the deep woods here. We did see Yorome in the last race that we commentated, I believe. He did make that trip down to the deep woods. It's happened in a GSA race. Basically anything. You name it, all the big time losses, they've all happened. But not seeing the deep woods today. Goodbye, deep woods, because we are out of here. Just gonna have to go through pipes first, and pipes kind of a difficult room. We have seen deaths in pipes, actually. Which really, if you get a death here, it messes up your cycle. Everything's different. But Fur starting lake, while Kirbs would be exiting wooded right out of here. He's going to be warping to the Odyssey. Now, lake clip. Oh no, Fur not being able to get up here. Cappy actually congratulates you if you make that jump. I guess he didn't do it at that moment, but you normally when you make that jump, you see Cappy give you some text that's like, congrats on making that jump. The game developers clearly intended it, but Cappy not congratulating Fur today because he did not make the jump first try.
That's because he went wooded first, and I mean, obviously not. Cappy doesn't say anything about this one, though. Pretty sure the developers didn't intend that specific trick right there. Basically, clipping out of bounds to be able to grab that checkpoint a little bit earlier than the game really wants you to get there. So you just grab that chest, move out of bounds, and get that painting chest after, which seems pretty nice and straightforward, but actually doing that, performing that kind of trick is actually probably at this point even still one of the hardest and most precise tricks that you kind of learn. And on average, you would probably say it only saves 5 seconds.
Wow, look at what Kirbs just did there to get the cloud. He kind of did like, I don't know, looked like a spin throw roll cancel to boost. He didn't actually get a boost, but he like opened up the cloud platform early. Interesting strat there. But yeah, Cloud has actually kind of not been nice to Curbs in a lot of races, a lot of attempts in his
Even his PB.
in his PB. He lost a few seconds here, but we've also seen him not grab the caps. I've seen, you know, many runs on good paces actually, kind of dying to Cloud for Curbs. So definitely, normally not like the most difficult kingdom in the game, but there are a lot of technical parts of it, and something that Curbs is gonna have to look out for here. Yeah, speaking of, okay, that's not the worst thing that could happen, but he didn't get the instant hack grab there.
Yeah. Usually happens when you are a little bit too late with your cap throw. As long as you're not too early, that's still fine, because if you're too early, the head will actually be in Bowser's reach, and he's going to pick up the head and basically jump away from you, and that's where the time loss really starts hurting.
Yep, we're going to 1958. That's a 1958.
Okay. Sub 20, though.
Yeah, we'll take that. Definitely race world record pace. Definitely a solid pace. Fur, I think, was the original person who used to say that these splits for Cloud Exit were similar, at least when he was getting them. Like a great, you know, Cloud Exit split would be similar to the current year. So he would say shout outs to the year, whatever, shout outs to the year 1958, I guess. But that was before anyone was getting sub 20 Cloud Exits. Now we have people that are, you know, getting 19.4x Cloud Exits even. So it's really incredible.
But let's see on first screen here if we are going to see any cloud boosts happening. This is something that Fur tends to go for. Doesn't get the boost here.
And we are. Very
doesn't
nice.
Quite get the boost. This is what he likes to call the boost-less version. It's the safer one. He actually has like a pretty in-depth tutorial about it. Usually this is kind of the move when you want to go for the cloud boost. If you get pushed by the cloud, then you go flying and can basically skip that last portion. But that's kind of the safe version of it. Just basically activate the cloud from below and then like jump off of it.
Yeah, you're definitely correct. His video is a highly recommended watch. His YouTube in general, he has some nice tutorials. One on Harriet, also one on Seaside Clip. But yeah, there are a few different strategies, but he did go for one of the strats in his video. It was the boostless version. Now, Curbs having an okay loss so far. This is kind of the most dangerous part of Lost, where triple jump succeeded. You don't have Cappy to help you out for that jump, but now the question is, he looks like he's in a spot where he might do the up throw dive, and he is doing the up throw dive that looked very good, very clean, fancy strats. Not too many even top runners, you know. It is a risky strat to go for that up throw dive. You get more height. It's a faster way to recover, but you have to be in a very specific position. And Curbs exiting Lost just as Fur enters Lost. I don't know the exact difference right now, but considering Lost is like, you know, basically a 2-minute, 10-second kingdom.
Minutes, yeah. Probably a little bit less still, because the load is already over for Fur. So I'd say like 150 or something is probably realistic. But yeah, pretty huge lead from Curbs. Now he's going to be leading into Night Metro.
Yes, he is. Now, Night Metro at the first, I guess, we do have, like, you know, there are some parts in this game where I'd like to think that in Day Metro, it's basically impossible to have a death in Day Metro, other than maybe at the very start. But in Night Metro, there are a few places where you can fall.
For sure.
Kind of, so you do have to be very careful, right here being one of those places, but Curbs gets it okay. And I guess the biggest place where you can fall in Night Metro is City Hall Tower. And we have seen multiple deaths in City Hall Tower in the league. Fur taking a little bit of a strange path here to this moon, but he does get it eventually, and at least not dying in the purple goo. That's what you want to see.
Now, I do know a way how to make Metro, Day Metro a little bit riskier in terms of potentially dying. There's like a certain sub-room that people have been thinking about. I don't know. But maybe that should be added to just increase chance of death. Now, there's obviously what I'm talking about is there's this pretty rough to perform fast movement in sub-room called like bullet building. Something that we've been almost since like half a year looking at and knowing that it's kind of the faster way to approach this kingdom, but the move you have to do around it is extremely hard.
Yeah, Fur not saving himself there from getting that last moon, but he does have enough moons, so that's only a few second time loss. Not the worst thing, because he spawned right at the Odyssey. That's the best death that you can take, but Fur is out of City Hall Tower. That's going to be a relief for him. Oh, but not getting that little spin pound strat. But we are going to be on to Mecha Wiggler as Fur is exiting Lost Kingdom with a 24:04 exit. Mecha Wiggler, a lot of RNG in this guy, but not in the first phase. We'll see what kind of phase he gets, and maybe we could comment. Actually, LilKirbs was the guy who discovered, he made a YouTube video, if you look at his YouTube, that that you can sort of manip Mecha Wiggler. I don't know if he's going to do it here. We'll see if he does it, but you can manip him with the camera so that he spawns on the bottom. Whether it helps get a better pattern or whatever, it's debatable, but it definitely limits the set of patterns that you can get from the Mecha Wiggler. So maybe you only have to practice less patterns, even if some of them are still undesirable. But yeah, it's hard to say whether he does it or not because I'm not very practiced in that strat.
Well, it still looks like a pretty decent pattern, and he's reacting to it pretty well, so he can't really complain about this one. Gets those shots in there, and yeah, pretty fast 2-cycle here from LilKirbs. Now, almost actually falling there, not really getting the height he needed to get on top of that building, but he is still going to make that jump, going to be rolling across and then starting his City Hall ascent himself. And then, yeah, LilKirbs is already into the Metro. Actually, I think he has been getting the best Metro overall time yesterday. I think he has been saying something like a 7:31, which is, I think, like a 2-second or almost 3-second improvement of the previously best time. So he's definitely extremely well versed in the city.
Yeah, that is so incredible. I feel like ever since, of course, before the community sob too, but LilKirbs, of course, hosting that new community sob video, which is the best kingdom splits by every runner, and LilKirbs has definitely been, that looks so close right there, but he did make it. I didn't think he was going to make that. That was so close, but LilKirbs definitely getting a lot of those IL world records, or close to it. Luncheon is kind of like the kingdom that we always associate with LilKirbs. Like, he's a luncheon guy, but he's also quite good at a lot of other kingdoms. That Metro time is incredible. 7:31. That's like, wow. But we are getting this little mini dram, and Scoot Clip went okay for LilKirbs, so that's good. We'll see how Scoot Clip goes for. I wonder actually what the for.
I just got a little bit confused by that, but yeah, I get you.
I wonder what the setup is, actually, the physical setup, if you use Joy-Cons to do Scoot Clip. It's probably easier, because I'd imagine it's easier to turn Joy-Cons all the way upside down rather than a Pro Controller, which I know at least the setup for that is quite awkward sometimes, but
yeah,
you can be very consistent at it.
Scoot Clip really makes you feel like you're on the scooter, dude. If you watch anybody basically running this game with facecam on a Pro Controller, they have to like twist their entire body, because Scoot Clip works in a way, by the way, for getting the 2-cycle here at the same time, but Scoot Clip works in a way that kind of uses one of the hidden motion control features in this game. Some of the captures or like vehicles or like gimmicks of this game actually have a little motion control trick that the game doesn't tell you about, and for the scooter it is, if you actually turn your controller with the motion controls, you get like a steeper steering angle, and that's what we use to kind of like steer into the cage and then actually clip into the moon.
LilKirbs getting a nice fancy strat here. Most people kind of long jump and then spin pound to grab that moon from, I guess, the remains of the Mecha Wiggler, but he did a little roll cancel jump. Slightly faster, again, because long jumps do they do slow you in this game, unlike in maybe Super Mario 64, you use those speed tech a lot, but long jumps are basically not speed tech. Sometimes you want to use them, like I think maybe in Ruin sometimes there's a fast strat with long jumps and stuff, but for the most part, roll cancel jumps, they're more difficult to perform, but we're going to be seeing a lot of them in this race. And LilKirbs going for this trash moon. We are getting it, and let's see, can he get the Scoot Clip? He does.
Very fast.
Gets the drive-by. Very fast. Not even really like stopping to set himself up. So that's what you want to see.
That was what? Okay, that's really annoying. I actually know exactly what happened there. So, I mean, I don't know what happened, why he threw Cappy so late, so he captured the wrong pylon. But actually, if you uncapture that and throw Cappy, you will immediately capture it again. Very unfortunate, because you kind of leave the pylon behind it, not in the face of the other pylon. Very, very unfortunate time loss, because this match was going really well.
Yep, and we are out of Tippy there. SMO's version of Tippy, that is. Getting the spin pound. LilKirbs, of course, going for that strat. And a little bit of a falling down. Oh, okay. For now, about to talk to Pauline, but This is the last room. Actually, let's look at coins right here. 122 coins for Curbs, so that is definitely safe to go for Snow first. That's what I'm guessing he's going to do. Now, Fur has, I think it was 99, what I just saw. But even if he has enough, I think he'll still go for Seaside first, just because Fur likes to kind of change it up a little bit. We do appreciate that, of course, a little bit of variety. We don't mind. Also, it keeps us commentators guessing, you know, because we have to kind of estimate the difference between these runners. But we'll get their metro exits right here.
Yeah, and this is looking pretty hot for Curbs. Still not the best we've ever seen. Obviously, we've seen crazy metro exits at this point in time. We've seen, I think, didn't Goyuya get like a 2x or something? I think Goyuya had like a 29-29 or something at some point in time. So it is pretty ridiculous. Curbs is still going to get a 4x, so basically 20 seconds behind that best pace, which should still allow him to easily be on a pace where he could get the best race time ever. Because especially this section of the game, he's incredibly good at, like Snow, Lunch, and Seaside.
If I remember correctly, I think the race world record had the same metro exit, or 29 4x, 29.48, about that kind of metro exit. But definitely that is a capable run. I know that his 100.27 race world record had a 29.50. So, like, obviously, you do the math, you know, you're like 2 seconds behind that metro exit. You're very capable of getting a 100.24. But we're starting Snow here. This is kind of like a very technical segment. A lot of like mashing, a lot of you know, very precise movement. You got to talk to Toad doing that little roll cancel. Yeah. So, but once we enter Shiveria, it would be nice if we had like a segment timer, you know, so we could like really see like, oh, what's his enter Shiveria split. But you can just kind of observe, and we are in there. And for getting the Bullseye Buddy Moon.
Sometimes I wonder if, because I've been obviously also watching other communities, other gaming communities, when they commentate their races. Sometimes I wonder if we, I mean, we're definitely not the only ones, but I rarely hear people emphasize so much on like these specific times, like, oh, what was your Shiveria exit? What was your da-da-da? I feel like when it comes to the numbers, we actually are a little bit unique.
Yeah, that's what we pride ourselves on, I would say. You and me, you know, the stack guys, we've got the BTT, the tracker, I don't know. But definitely for LilKirbs getting that. Oh, what? That's okay. At least we didn't fall. If we fell there, that would have been a huge time loss. I think that's one that we haven't seen in the league so far. But we are getting the Snow Moon clip. So I would say probably negated that 1 second time save from that, from the bonk. But hey, we're going to see Fur's metro exit, by the way. But at least we got the clip. At least we didn't fall. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
And getting the optimal Spiny. 32 flat for Fur. So
no, the Spiny is a little bit stubborn.
Fighting for his life there. Spiny is refusing to go. But yeah, so 32 flat to 29.48. So that's gonna be like a 2 minute and 12-second difference.
Now, Fur is going to be going to Seaside as predicted here. Once again, throwing us a little bit of a curveball, so we will see those runs come together when they enter Luncheon again. Kind of getting into an early vacation here on the left screen. Curbs is still going to have to freeze for a little bit. The split should technically be around 1.5 minutes slower or longer, so you basically spend more time in Snow. Even though you collect the same amount of moons, the choice of moons that we get is extremely limited, and we are really stuck with some of the slowest moons, actually. Not in the entire game, but like really slow moons. I say this all the time, but the moons that Curbs is currently collecting are so slow that a category that gets 500 moons skips them. There's 500 better moons than these two, but we are forced to get them in a 124 moon speedrun because there's that's not anymore available.
Yep, of course, LilKirbs got to take his time to plug the Darker Side Dupes category, the best Darker Side category.
Shoutouts.
In case you don't like Snow World Peace, guess what? Darker Side Dupes, the fastest route now. I don't know if it's the current one, but possibly flirting with skipping Snow. For not getting the movement here to grab this cheap fast. With Joy-Cons, you can do a down throw there, actually, which is the fastest strat, I believe. But yeah, Darker Side Dupes not getting that Snow World Peace at all. But we do it. We don't do it in any percent either. But I guess World Peace does it, and regular Darker Side does it for now. We're going up to Snowdrem though. Curbs has had some trouble with this, but like usually he's pretty good. He is the guy who got, what was it, like 40 snowdrams in a row once. That's
yeah,
kind
I
of
think a
Curb's
number like
practice
that.
style. Yeah, Curbs, like he does like to do that. I've also seen him like count to see how many Sphinx clips he can get in a row. You know, there's some people just like to kind of do something over and over again and see how many you can get in a row, and that's like a good test of your consistency or a good practice for some people. So
that was a
but he
pretty
does get it.
smooth. Yeah, that was a pretty smooth one as well, especially also on his way back, kind of like doing that roll cancel jump and then just bouncing on top of Cappy that's already out there. Then back to all the way over. Now, first going to come to the out of bounds portion of Seaside. Is going to place that cheap conveniently at the boundary. Then move
Now,
away
Fur, I
from...
believe, is the only person in the league who has clipped in. I've seen him clip in a race before, and he had to talk to Sphinx. And it's funny that the guy who made the tour, this is a bad spot. He's not used to doing this in this position. I really hope this ends up okay, but you got to be very careful straddling the line there, and he does get it, thankfully. Not going to be clipping in today. And once again, for our viewers, might be thinking like, oh, how did Curbs get so far behind? No, Fur did Seaside first. So as a result, Curbs is quite a bit ahead, at least a whole, kind of like a whole Seaside Kingdom ahead. Of course, there's still a little bit left in Seaside, but we won't be able to compare until they get to Luncheon. But definitely Curbs having like a multi-minute lead here, you know, more than 2 minutes, I'd say. And actually, that is significant because if we go back to the stats here, Curbs needs to win by 150 seconds, 2 minutes and 30 seconds, I believe, to tie Stravos for third, and like more than that to beat Stravos for third. I wonder what happens if there's an exact tie. But so definitely, if like Curbs keeps playing super well and Fur kind of keeps doing how he's doing, we could see winning time over 230, possibly max points. And if he gets max points, then this changes up everything, because then Stravos faces Sui, and Curbs would face Equan, I think? I don't know. We're going to have to look. Yeah, but definitely, while these guys are going through the relatively straightforward parts, I'll take a look at the standings here. But yeah, if Curbs were to beat Stravos in third, then he would face the 6th player, right? And that would be Equan. So maybe he's not trying to face Equan. I don't know. I would say Curb's still, of course, trying to do his best. And he gets damage. You don't want to see damage in Seaside. You're going to get that moon refill health animation that takes up like 2 seconds. But yeah, those sea bacons, I would say. Curbs actually is one of those guys who had a 320 Seaside. Did get the IL world record for it. But
yeah, that's a
in a way,
I'm actually not sure. I'm not sure if Curbs is the only one at this point. Still, or if Strav also got a 320. I'm actually not completely sure.
Yeah, I know he's been going for that, but yeah, for doing the wall jump chat up to get the chest, that's fine. And Curbs looks like he's okay. Yep. But there is actually some RNG in Seaside. You usually don't think of Seaside as an RNG kingdom, but for some strats, like Stravos says for one strat, oh, let's see, is Fur's going to go for that moon clip? I don't think he's got it at that position. A little too low. Yeah,
Yep.
Not going for it. But he did go for it, but he didn't like really commit to it. Yeah, there is a strat where the sea bacons can kind of, their movement, of course, is RNG, and if you get too close to one of the ground pound or the shake spots, oh, Fur doing a little bit falling down, but that's okay. Still got the boost, but didn't get to take advantage of that. But yeah, it looks like Curbs did get hit by the sea bacon, but that's okay. And we are exiting here. Let's remember this time, 37:56. That is an amazing Seaside exit for a race. Quite good. For also getting this optimal spiny, but having to take 2 hits to get it off. 37:56. Wow. So definitely race world record still on the line. Possibly could beat it by a little bit, but I don't know. What do you think about that exit? We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, looks good. We've seen actually something close to this a very long time ago, when Curbs had this one legendary run that actually found his end on that fork subroom that we're going to be seeing in Luncheon later on, which he entered right here. Now doing the Soul Triple, and has already done that successfully. Yeah, we see. There was this amazing run that Curbs had way back. Must have been... I'm not even sure when that could have been. Maybe in like October or something. Time flies, so I don't know. Maybe it was actually not October, but like later. But yeah, still a very, very good exit time here, and he can definitely work with that. Now we obviously have to see how Luncheon goes. Apparently, someone in chat mentioned earlier that apparently, but Curbs got a 6:05 Luncheon offline.
Yes, he did.
So
it was not recorded
ridiculous.
though. It was not recorded, the 6:05. Exactly. But yeah. By the way, that run was on November 3rd. That 100-2x run, so maybe a little bit more recent, but like even then, that was back then. The game was so different, man. Like, you know, the world record barely a 100 at the time, I believe. So that was a crazy run, and now the late game has gotten so much better too. That like having that same seaside exit actually kind of means more now, because the end splits luncheon you can do so much faster. Your BM, by the way, Curbs having that Bowser's Moon record. I believe it's the tied record still at 1250. But he was the first one to get a 1250. And so he definitely has a lot of potential in these last few splits. For going up to Snowdram, this is a tough trick, really taking his time to set that one up. Does get the vault. Nice. And he's good.
Looked close, but he still had the confidence to pull through, got that one. We basically are forcing ourselves to get this moon once again, since the moon variety is so limited here. So once you actually get back to the Earth, you can only get that moon. I mean, you could go back into the city, but I mean, at that point, you're really losing minutes probably. So you're basically forced to get this moon. But both of them getting it first try. Really nice to see. Consistency on this one should be fairly high. We do still see runners missing it though occasionally.
Definitely, and for exiting at 40-42, and that's the same thing as a seaside exit. Although actually, I don't think you can really compare snow exit at the end to a seaside exit at the end if you do different order, because the cutscenes, the globe drawing animation is a different time. But yeah, by the way, people asking in the chat if this is the last league race, and it is. And there actually, as far as I know, there have been no offline matches for the Super Mario Odyssey 80% League. So as a result, all the matches are available on YouTube for you to see. You can see everyone from the beginning to the end. Maybe someone could, I don't know if there's a command for our YouTube, but you can just go on YouTube and search Global Speedrun Association to see any of these matches. Some of them are quite entertaining, though. Great archival work done there by the Global Speedrun Association team.
We do have
and Curbs in Forks.
We do have a link to the YouTube below. On the panels is first almost burning himself. Yeah, but if you want to check out the YouTube, it's down below on the panels.
Yep, at least we didn't get a death there, but yeah, he did get caught like under the platform. As a result, he took 2 damage instead of 1.
Yep.
But turnip clip. Curbs now sometimes goes for this kind of like insane Kobe where he throws the turnip from the very top. And you've got to be like super accurate with that throw. We'll see what he decides to do. He might take it down during races and stuff. But he is going to get that Kobe getting it first throw. Looks good. And he gets it. So pretty nice from Curbs.
Yeah, he's schmoving through this luncheon. Looking pretty good. I mean, he's definitely still building up his lead. We were talking about, we actually haven't really gotten back to that after we were in like Lost, where we've been talking about like a 1 minute and 50-second lead. We are probably easily past the 2-minute mark right now, I'd say.
Yeah, easily.
At like 2:30 or something even.
Yeah, and it's funny that you say 2:30 because that's the number we want right here. 2:30 is the number that Curbs has in his head. That's the number that he wants to get the highest possible placing at this point. To get 3rd place, he needs a 2:30. And it's kind of unfortunate that like Curbs, basically his 2 losses were kind of like, I don't know, his first one was to, of course, that infamous Invisiwall for having some weird angles here, but we're getting up there. Oh, okay. Yeah, having to do a few wall jumps where you're not used to doing a wall jump there, but, you know, at least we got up. We're not falling all the way down. And, yeah, he's not going to bother. Some people do kind of a spin pound dive out of there, but after those troubles, probably not going to bother with that. We are getting these moons, and Curbs, anyways, did get that Invisible loss, and then he also had another loss while he was very sick with his race against Nycro. So just like those 2 things, you know, and now you're not able to get 2nd place or 1st place anymore. That's how good these top runners are. They're so consistent across 11 races, you know, which is so incredible. Nycro, of course, going undefeated.
Yeah, that's the biggest one that stands out, obviously. But also Chaos, after losing his first 2 races, going on a madness spree afterwards and just cleaning up everything. He really got his stuff together and has also been winning by pretty huge margins, which allowed him to get a ton of points as well.
Yeah. Now, Chaos has 509 points right now, and I believe that, yeah, it is like just impossible for Curbs to catch, and LilKirbs even more, but it would be impossible for Curbs to catch up to that based on this race, even if he got max points. It is possible, though, if he wins by 2 minutes and 30 seconds or more, possibly 2 minutes and 20 seconds, actually, depending on one of the retimes, that he could get 3rd place. That's definitely what he's going for. Curbs, of course, trying to go at the highest position possible. You want to be in that top 3.
Wow, that was some pretty impressive ruined opening movement by Curbs. They're really cutting those long jumps perfectly to get the maximum amount of power rolls going up the stairs. Pretty nice.
Yes, it is. Now, Rune Kingdom, of course, kind of like an auto-scroller kingdom, but, you know, at least Fur is about to do Turnip Clip. That's a very exciting moment. We'll see what strategy he decides to go for when he decides to throw the turnip. Turnip looks kind of okay. Maybe a little close, actually. Looks pretty close, but I think he can do it.
Good confidence there, for sure. Yep. That was a very tough call, but Fur deciding to just give it a shot and was rewarded by it. Because after seeing it from the upwards perspective, I would have been... I'm not sure if I would have committed myself, but Fur, knowing that that will still work and getting rewarded for his confidence.
Yeah, after this ruin, we'll get to see what kind of BM Bowser's Moon bad milk time that Curbs would need to get a race world record, to get a sub 10020. I don't know, every kind of get that you can get here. Now, for not getting a little cappy vault here, which you'd normally see, but at least we're not falling, not pulling a Nitro and falling off of that little ledge moon, the ground pound moon. That the geometry of these walls, of course, is like often they don't give you that much space to do a spin pound, but we're shaking the meat. We're out of here. Just as Curbs slays the dragon. Dragon slain. Could absorb the dragon souls.
Yo, this ruin though is actually hot. Like, his faces were really nice, really fast spin pounds. And especially the opening movement was pretty crisp. We are going to be able to see Curbs' ruined exit here, and then we can compare against her. This might actually be one of the very, very rare occasions where we won't see 2 racers in ruin at the same time. So this is kind of usually where our pace plug segment takes place. I guess we have to do that well. We got cutscenes right now. First of all, obviously, shoutouts to D, whatever, also throwing in some viewers into the party right here. We currently have the last official SMO 20% league match, so welcome everybody. As we wrap this up, Curbs is now leaving Ruins, first entering it, so we are probably looking at something like a 3-minute lead.
Definitely, this kingdom, of course, being 3 minutes and 16 seconds at the fastest by Rhea. You know, even this was a great ruin from Curbs, I don't think it's even possible really to beat that. Maybe he's just got crazy loads or something, because Rhea, of course, he even had he missed the spin throw on the pylon at the start, so it's like, how did he get the IL world record doing that? But like, you know, the rest of his room was just so clean that really explains it. Yeah, if you look at what was that exit for the ruined, because Curbs is capable of getting a 1250 BM. We've seen him do it, you know. We've seen that would be like the best possible, but like even a 1255 BM in a race, not that crazy. So
yeah, I think it must have been something like a 22.
Wow. So then in that case, he gets a 12. You know, he gets a 1250. And we're looking at a 112.
I might have also looked at like the early cutscene. I was looking at first screen at the same time, trying to think about our pace plug segment. So Chad probably had a better eye
around that
than me. It should be around that, yeah.
Yep. Right after we slay the dragon, we are slaying the ogre. By the way, Curbs getting that ogre slay. That's another thing that in his PB, one of those little mistakes. You know, because I feel like, of course, we don't mean to rip on Curbs for every mistake in his PB, but his PB is just that perfect, that good, that like basically, you know, every time there's a little mistake, we can mention it because the rest was so clean. His 1 hour flat PB. Oh, getting a bonk right there, but Yeah, interesting how he did a little bit of a roll cancel to recover from that.
Yeah, I mean, now that you said it, like, you really have to think it like that. Technically, Curbs' PB is almost better in every place than the other two sub-hours because he has so much clear time loss for him in Cloud, like losing so much time in Cloud and losing a big chunk of time there in Bowser's. Like, his overall PB was probably the best run we've seen so far. I mean, other than like Goryu's insane extra times that he gets occasionally, and if we just look at early game, but yep, really have to agree with you.
Definitely. And Fur is gonna Dragon Slain for Fur as well. But yeah, so Curb's about to be doing Bowser Dram, about to be doing Bunnies after we get the shards here. Bowser Dram actually kind of risky, so we got to look out for this. There is a way to save yourself, of course, if you get a position such that you're falling, you can still shape to recover to the pylon, but hoping not for that. He does get it just fine. And we get the Dram. Oh, Insta-Dive, another little thing here, which is quite difficult, but he gets it. I'm always surprised how you're able to be so consistent at Insta-Dive, because it is a trick that is much harder than it looks. But now, chat's favorite part of the run. Get out your emotes, your GSA H's. Look, okay, LilKirbs, I understand right here. Actually, maybe Fur will do me a solid here and give us a topper first.
I was about to actually make a play on that. So I've seen Fur do both. Topper first and Harriet first. So out of everyone, he's really the guy to judge, right? So we'll
Definitely.
see. After having the experience doing both, we'll see what is his choice. After having experienced both.
That is a stat that I track, and basically, unfortunately, everyone in the league does Harriet first, except for Chaos, who always does Topper first, and Fur is the only person who flip flops between, depending on the day, depending on his mood, maybe depending on the signs and the stars. I don't know, but yeah, we're gonna have to wait a minute or two for Fur to get to that point.
Yeah, I do like to quickly mention, though, for everyone that might be new watching this, it absolutely technically doesn't matter what boss you fight first, but it's been this huge kind of meme fight in the community who of the two bunnies you want to take on first. And yeah, we kind of like to keep track of it and have a little bit of a laugh about it, but technically there's not much of a difference, if at all.
Definitely. Politics aside, we fight them both in the end anyways.
Yep.
So whether you're a Harriet first guy, a Topper first guy, you're fighting Topper first and Cap in the end. So that's what I like to think. But yeah, let's just slay those bunnies without any troubles here for Curbs. We are going on to the Mecha Brutal split now. Most runners, of course, have a split right here because Bowser is such a long kingdom. We can split it up into two kind of manageable chunks. Curbs going for the box moon here. Great Moon is, a high-risk scenario. Oh, and he falls. Not the usual setup for this because he did fall in the water. Okay, still managed to clutch it out. But, yeah, that's when things start to get a little bit, like, scary here. You start to get GSA S right there. Because when you're not used to your usual movement, you're not used to falling in the water like that. But Curbs is...
dive back. On the other screen.
Yep, but good recovery from Fur, I would say, from that missing dive back. At least you're not, like, falling all the way down there and bonking, which we've seen a few times.
Oh,
yeah, and
Fur going for the down for a stretch, but actually falling off the roof, so it's not as bad. He still got the shot, he's making his way over there. Didn't actually uncapture the Pokemon, and you know why? I think that's actually hilarious, but I'm pretty sure this is where the AOM muscle memory kicks in, because in AOM and pretty much all other long categories, you actually stay in the bird to get the other fast moons, such as the very infamous Glory Hole there, and like the other fast powers moon. Now Curbs is actually gonna fall on that mech climb.
Okay, not all the way down.
Super good backup though.
That's good. Yeah, we'll see what kind of strats for Curbs gone for. I have seen him gone, by the way. He in one of his races, he went for Topper required, but most races he decides not to do that. Most races we're going to see just the standard target acquired. We're going for that Bowser Dram, having to set it up. Looks good, and he does get it.
Yep, got a bonk on his first
now
attempt,
we're going to see the second choice of the run.
At the same time, hopefully target acquired here for Curbs. I'm looking at chat, but hopefully Curbs gets... Oh, yeah, that's it. We see Topper is bad. Fur definitely...
There we go, guys.
Momentum
Everyone. We're seeing the dabs
on the wall.
Thank you. Look at this, guys. We're partying, chat. This is it. Everyone dab on LimCube in chat, okay?
Wait, but
gonna
Fur
dab on
literally
LimCube
just
with
lost
me.
time doing that. Did you not watch?
What? Nah, he gained time doing topper.
He gained time
no,
sliding on the
lost.
wall. No.
Yeah, but hey, you know, it's
By the way,
worth
that
it.
topper might have beaten the sheet, just saying. That was actually
Beat the sheet
incredible
topper.
first phase.
Exactly. Thank you, chat. We really appreciate it.
I mean,
LimQ getting dabbed on. And now,
people just love losing time.
for Harriet, anyways, Fur, of course, is the master of Harriet, actually. So even knowing everything that he knows about Harriet, okay, he wrote the video, literally. He knows every Harriet fight. He does the fastest BTT Harriet strats. You're seeing that spin pound roll cancel jump. You don't see that on any of the other league runners Harriets that I've seen. Even knowing all about this, Fur's the most learned man. He still decides to go topper first. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. He definitely lost around 3 seconds doing so. So maybe he should swap it up in the future, and then those fights are going to be looking a little bit better. But other than that mistake for going topper first, this was a pretty clean section by Fur. Just making that pretty big mistake there going topper first and losing around 3 seconds. But other than that, pretty solid bunnies split by Fur, who now has to go into the mech side of things.
Yeah, well, he'll make it up in style points. It's okay. You know, he's finishing the league off with style here. Last race, you gotta go off with a bang. But we are entering Moon. Uh-oh, I missed that that Bowser exit for Curbs. Maybe someone else will have it. But definitely I would say, like, it was a solid Bowser. There's no huge mistakes from Curbs that I saw. I guess he had, like, a bonk here and there, so probably 1250 is probably over. But can definitely get, you know, I would say race world record is possible.
Yep.
This is the hunt for race world record.
Not for sure, but
So
I mean, it is for sure possible, but it's hard.
Yes. Everything is hard in this game. Let's see. The vectors matter. Everything. Fur, by the way, like, fumbling around a little bit on mech split. But we're going to have to go over this moon stake here, or rather to the side of it. Getting a little time to roll boost. And we're aiming to get both these rocket flowers and go for moon skip. We'll see what variety of moon skip he goes for. Most people just going for the standard variety. 55-14, by the way, for that Bowser exit. So you do the math on that. You get a 5-10 moon. Wait. If that was a 55-14, you get a 5-10 moon, and then you're looking at an hour and 24. So which would be like the best possible, which would tie it, if that's true. But someone else just said 55-1x. I don't know.
On the other end, by the way, we was thinking about the time difference between them, which at that point is probably at the 3-minute mark. Having some big issues here on Mac right now.
Well, Curbs at least getting the first hit for Bowser, but yeah, Fur, okay. Yeah, Fur having some trouble at the start of mech here. Hopefully you can finish it off, though. Only got 2 more bubbles to hit. As long as you're not, like, falling off having to use the Pokio, that would be like a true Mario meltdown. Don't want to see any Mario meltdowns from these runners. But I would say, you know, still a respectable fight as long as he can not fall off and get this target acquired. Very crucial. Can he get it?
Oh, going for the non-target acquired version, going for the old Harriet third strat, where you basically spin point towards the platform and then let basically Spear turn into you. But I mean, it's personal preference, that still worked, so that's totally fine.
It does. Maybe it's a little bit slower, that strat, or just, but definitely just a tiny bit. Curbs diving over the flamethrower attack from Bowser, the deadly flamethrower. Of course, doesn't pose that much of a risk, maybe kind of making a mockery of Bowser, because as far as I know, it's just a floor scan. You can actually literally jump over that by starting a roll. Like, even if you don't roll boost, literally just if you hold Y and, like, just start a roll, you can kind of get enough height to jump over that attack.
Yep, seems to be just a little floor scan, so as long as you're in the air as this attack is approaching, you won't take any damage. Pretty weak final attack.
His fade out, by the way, 55-06 was Curbs' fade out. We had some misinformation in chat. But, so 55-06, we're looking at race world record is you know, very possible. 5-10 moon gets you, of course, 5-10 moon isn't something, as far as I know, Curbs has never gotten a 5-10 moon. But, like, a 5-12 moon, 5-13 moon, these are things that Curbs could get. And, you know, he gets a 5-15 moon, 5-15 moon, which is, like, realistic, I would say.
I'm not sure, dude. This is this would.
It's close. It's gonna be close.
I couldn't see that being a 55 or 6 if he's at this point already. But we will see. We'll see as he comes into the pillar room. But the pillar room is still pretty far and usually takes around 52 seconds or more. So I would be surprised.
Yeah,
if
other people saying I'm sure it
55.06.
wasn't a 55.06. We got tons of controversy in the chat here, but it's okay because basically all that matters here is this pillar split. It takes about 50 seconds if you do it the best possible way. Most people it's going to take like 55 seconds, you know, or 53 seconds or something would be a good pillar's time. So a lot of variation in the split. We are finishing it off here. Kirbs about to finish his last group stage match. Let's see, 55-24.
This could be a
59-24.
1x.
This could be a 1x. This could be that race world record. Let's see how fast you can get the pillars. Trying to get this first pillar as fast as possible. 5 quick shots. Gonna have to do a little bit more than 5 there. Uh-oh, gonna have to... Okay.
Wait, did he get it? Was that
he does get
it was. Yeah.
It was a pillar hit. So lost a little bit of time there. I don't know. Clock's ticking down. Race world record. Trying to get that 1x. Trying to get the best race time in history. Oh, third pillar. Okay, trying to last pillar right here. Really As for kind of futzing around on Moonskip, but that's okay.
This is close. This is so close. I think it might be 2-0, but we'll see. It's pretty close.
Oh, about to get that next 10-second barrier. Let's see.
Oh no, this should be 1x.
Counts.
Yep. This should be 1x.
There we go. 1:00:19 race world record from LilKirbs. His 3rd race world record in a row.
Crazy.
That is extremely impressive. GG's to Kirbs for that incredible time, closing out the group stages with that race world record. Honestly, like, I feel like we were talking before about, like, oh, sub-hour in a race, you know? Like now that we've achieved sub-hour RTA, the next step is achieving it in a race. Who knows, man? Who knows? You go to pace. We got a few more weeks of people to improve. Like, what do you think? Do you think it'll happen at pace? I think I've gone on the record saying yes.
It'll be extremely dependent on who actually gets there. Obviously, I mean, I think someone like, I mean, it's so weird to say because I think like even someone like Equan, if all of the stars align and maybe the crowd gives him his energy, he could do it. You know, if he even gets there. But that's obviously going to be extremely reliant on that. We can ask Kirbs himself if he thinks he's going to be able to do it because Kirbs just pretty much secured 3rd place here with a finish that's going to be more than 3 minutes faster than Fur and also achieving the race world record. So Kirbs, congrats on that. GG's and runners back.
Thanks. Definitely my early game was pretty rocky, like especially Lake and Wooded. I probably lost around 20 seconds total there, but no big deal. It was just the start of the race. Getting used to everything. Then I think Metro was a little bit weird. Oh yeah, there was a really weird mistake where after the whatever that moon is, going up to like the tower or whatever, I dropped a spin throw and
then you captured like the wrong thing. Yeah.
So that's kind of funny, but no big deal there. Snow was a little bit sloppy overall. I think I missed the spiny with my spin throw.
True. Yep. Was a bit stubborn.
Yeah. Seaside, fine overall. Luncheon was, I think it was at least a 609 or something. Not the best, but it works. Ruined was weird. Bowser's, I don't remember any mistakes, but I probably made a couple. And then Move was solid. So I think it was a good run overall. I'm definitely getting better with my consistency and playing well in late game, so I think that's helping me a lot.
Yeah, honestly, pretty interesting to look back at this run and actually see the mistakes that happened were like super weird ones. Everything that usually tends to like cause you mistakes, you actually just kind of like destroy it. But then we had like mistakes with capturing the wrong wire and Spiny staying on the ledge. But just goes to show that sub-hour is free, you know? It just goes to show that was a pretty crazy run. Well done, dude. Winning by 3 minutes, so you are gonna be in 3rd. And I think this is gonna, I mean, we still, once again, we are just making kind of estimates here because everything is gonna need to be like re-verified to actually get the final complete standing kind of looking back at all of the races. But I think this should probably, after the recent events, it should cause Econ to be your opponent, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so.
That is correct.
I can probably back me up there as well. This is an interesting matchup. What would you think about this matchup in general, in like a best of series?
I haven't really seen Equan perform in races too much, but just based on his runs, I know his early game is super strong, but I feel like it kind of dissipates nearing the end. He's a little bit less consistent, I guess. So I feel like I'm a little bit better with consistency overall, so I feel like it'll be close overall though, so that's good. It'll be exciting.
Yeah, it'll always be good to see some close races, and definitely Equan has been trying to improve in consistency. He did get a recent PB of 100.25, but definitely it's good to be confident going into it. What do you think also about the format now of these playoffs, which is kind of like a marathon session in a way? It's a best of 3 best of 3s, so we're looking at up to 9 hours. As Fur finishes with a 104.29, we'll have him in the call right after. But first of all, what do you think about the format being like a best of 3 best of 3? Do you think that favors you maybe? Because I know you've done some long sessions. Your PB, I believe, was at the end of like a 7-hour grind. So maybe you think that benefits you doing a lot of races?
Having a best of 3 is definitely helpful because, and I believe it's on like separate days each race, so that's
correct. Yeah, each set is on a separate day.
So I mean, if I play badly on one, I can work on whatever I messed up, so I'm good for the next one. It just lets you know what you need to improve on, so you can do better in the next one. So I think that's all really helpful.
Very nice, very nice. And we have Fur joining the call here, finishing up his group stage career. Of course, not over for either runner. Both of these guys are going to be in the playoffs. What do you think of your run today for 104.29?
Wasn't really good, but I wasn't expecting to win this. So, and I mean, my placement was pretty set in stone anyways, so I wasn't really concerned either.
Yeah, so definitely with that, you're going to be in 7th, or rather, yeah, you're going to be in 7th place, getting that 1 point. And so as a result, you're going to face Chaos because Nycro's in 1st right now. What do you think about that matchup in the playoffs, racing against Chaos?
Oh, he's going to destroy me, but that's okay.
Hey, you never know in races, because that's what we said, in the beginning too. And Chaos actually lost his first 2 races. He kind of, I would say, like in the beginning of a new format, like in the beginning of the league, in the beginning of the last tournament too, he kind of has been a little shaky. So it's possible at the beginning of the playoffs, like you never know what's going to happen in a race. And also, of course, for implementing some new strategies, doing some fancy stuff. So like, I would say you never know what's going to happen, especially maybe the new format of doing best of 3 best of 3s. Of course, Fur being an AUM runner now, I don't know, do you think maybe kind of going on those long grinds of AUM, doing 8-hour runs, that might help your endurance with possibly up to 9 hours of racing?
It might.
Well, we're happy to see that. Definitely, it's been a great race from both of you guys, and happy to close off the very last race in the group stage for SMO, but a lot to come. You're going to see both of these runners be in the playoffs, trying to get that spot in the playoffs. It's do or die. Of course, it's the best of 3 best of 3s, but if you win it, you make it to pace. If you lose it, you're out of pace. So it is that simple. LilKirb, it's been a pleasure commentating with you today.
As always.
What do we got here for GSA coming up? I'm sure we've got tons of other races. Feel free to ! schedule to see the full schedule, or you'll see it right.
Yeah, actually, we got some
but,
SM64 pretty much immediately after this one. So going into Cheese versus Benji. So the youngster versus the legend. So that's definitely a good matchup to watch here at GSA, coming up on the 70-star league. Once again, this is the last day of the regular season, so everything is gonna have a pretty big impact. But guys, thank you so much for watching this one. Very exciting race here, Kirbs, making an impact. 100.19 race world record. Thank you for watching once again. Thank you for commentating, Esper. Make sure to follow the channel and have fun with these next races, guys. See you in playoffs.